go ahead and get started. So first thing I want to do is thank Mr. Lyle Daniel over here. So this is Lyle's farm, and so why don't we give a round of applause for Lyle opening up his farm for us. Thank you, Lyle. And then I also want to honor, he's back there making a drink right now, Alan Kemper, and then 3 other guys that couldn't make it tonight, Ryan Roberts, Justin Lambert, and David Harbin. Unfortunately, they couldn't be here, but Alan and those 3 guys took chances on me and have believed in me to get the Four Fires nonprofit started. And without those 3 guys, I don't think I'd be standing here, and we wouldn't be here tonight with all of the Four Fires stuff. So another round of applause for Alan and the Four Fires board. I also want to honor my lovely wife, Rachel. She's over there taking a picture. Y'all smile at her. Rachel and Sarah Ann and Mary Kate, they're here helping us tonight, make sure the event goes smoothly. So another round of applause for them. Last person I'm going to honor is my dad. And all this stuff that we're doing is men's ministry. And my dad taught me how to fear God and how to honor him with my life. And he taught me how to work hard. And he spent 2 decades raising a boy into a young man and now a grown man who's standing here today. And Daddy, without you, I for sure wouldn't be standing here. So thank you. And let me get a hold of myself here. So everything with the Four Fires is all about men's ministry. And my dad did a phenomenal job raising me, showing me what a godly man looks like. So thanks, Daddy. So some of you know about the Four Fires. You know what the framework is. And it's just an idea that helps us think about being exceptional in every area of life. So I'm going to paint this picture for you just so that we can all be on a level playing surface, because like I said, some of us have heard it before and some of us maybe have never heard it. So the idea is every day we wake up and we have an arm full of logs, and our logs represent our time and our energy and our resources that we have to invest and allocate on these fires of our life. So it's just a metaphor, an idea to think about. We have these logs, and then we have these 4 fires. And it's really important that we choose to put our logs, our time and our energy and our resources on these fires and not just chuck them out in the woods and waste our life away. So the 4 fires are the professional fire. So the professional fire is about identifying what your craft is. And our craft are the unique skills and ability that God has given us. All of us are wired a little bit different. Some of us are engineers, and some of us are great with our hands, great with our minds. We all are wired and have different skills. And so it's important to identify what those skills are and hone them. And then the second part of the professional fire is about learning how to convert that craft into cash so that we can provide for our families and be generous and be a financial blessing to others. So that's the professional fire. And absolutely, I think we'd all agree that men, we should make sure that we're putting logs, and we almost naturally always put logs on that professional fire. The second fire is the people fire. The people fire is all about relationships, because it does us no good to achieve great professional success if we have no one to share it with, and we're a jerk to the people in our life. The people fire is about relationships with family and friends. And so really, when we think about the people fire, we want to make sure that our homes, we've built them where our homes are places of strength and not stress, where our wife loves being married to us and our kids respect us. We want to make sure that our family relationships are taken care of. And then the friends part, it's also really important outside of your family to have real, authentic friendships with other men, because the Bible says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. We need those real, authentic friendships with other men. And a lot of you, I know, are involved in small groups with your church, and you're already doing a really good job of having these friendships. So for sure, the professional fire, people fire. The next area is the physical fire. So the physical fire is about taking care of our body. So we see in Scripture that our body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, and we should honor God with our body. There's things that we can't control with the physical fire. Unfortunately, there's disease, and there's injuries, and maybe birth defects, and things that we can't control. But there are two things that we can always control in the physical fire, and it's what we eat and how often we exercise. So the physical fire is all about making sure that we're healthy so that we're not limited over the course of our entire life to the memories that we can make and the work that we can do. One day I want to be able to roll around on the carpet with my grandkids and my kids, and so that's a long way down the road. But that's what I think about in the physical fire. It's about longevity and being healthy so that you're not limited and you can go on hikes and kayak camping trips with your buddies, and we want to make sure that we're physically healthy and strong. So professional fire, people fire, and physical fire. And then the last fire, which is the most important one, is the purpose fire. The base question that we start with in the purpose fire is, do you believe that you have a soul? Some of us will say, absolutely. I've been living a faith journey for decades now, or several years. But some of us might be wrestling with that question, do you think you have a soul? And that's okay. That's totally fine. But that's the base question, because we have to think about, what do we believe about ourselves? Is there something about us that is eternal, that when we die, we're going to go somewhere? In the purpose fire, we say that the two parts, as you notice, each fire has got two subcategories. The first kind of subcategory of the purpose fire is about our connectedness with God. So that's our personal, intimate relationship with Jesus. The reason we start with that question of, do you believe you have a soul, is because that's where it starts. You have to recognize that I have a creator and I'm a son of God, and you find your identity in that. And then the second part is our commitments, or the choices that we make. And the choices and the commitments are a byproduct of recognizing that I'm a son of God and God cares about how I live my life, how I treat other people. The purpose fire is all about our relationship with Jesus, and then what does our life look like as a result of us finding our identity as a son of God and having a relationship with Jesus. As you noticed, I listed those off: professional, people, physical, and purpose. I almost listed those in the order in which the world would reward us for. So the world, I think we'd all agree, what's the world tell us is most important? Make money, the professional fire. And then, have six-pack abs, look good so you can get a hot girlfriend or whatever. And then make sure that your people fire isn't a dumpster fire, and then the world doesn't care anything about if we have a relationship with God. But if we look at Scripture, it's the exact inverse of what God cares about most. Jesus says that the greatest commandment is love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And then the second is love your neighbor as yourself. So purpose fire, relationship with God is most important. People fire, love your neighbor as yourself. And then our body's a temple. And then there's a lot in Scripture about work and money. And we see in the Garden of Eden, from the day one, God created Adam, put him in the garden to work it and take care of it. So God knows that we have work, and he wants us to do good work. So I just think it's important to recognize the world's order versus God's order and make sure that we have our priorities straight on all of the four fires. And I have people oftentimes ask me, well, why is it important? Like, why can't I just have a good family and make money? Like, why is it important to be four-dimensional? That's what we call it when you're building all four fires intentionally. It's a four-dimensional man where he's whole and complete, lacking nothing. And the reason that it's important is because when we choose to be four-dimensional, every single one of us has our own four-dimensional journey. So when you choose to be four-dimensional, the marriage that your wife gets to participate in is radically different. The father that your kids are raised by is radically different. We've got a story, if some of you have been through our Four Fires small group content, Alan explains a story about a guy who first heard about the Four Fires, and we have an assessment where you give yourself a number on each of those 8 categories I just named, and he scored himself a 26 out of 80. And then he went through a Four Fires small group and was really intentional about the work that he was doing, his relationships with God and people, and exercising and eating right. And after a year, he scored himself a 76. And Alan and I both were like, that's awesome. Like, man, that's great. He's got this awesome self-development journey. But then the friend of Alan's who was telling him the story said, Alan, I don't think you understand. This guy's married and he's got 3 sons. Think about the difference that his wife and his boys have of having a husband or a father that's a 26 versus a 76. So that's why the 4 Fires is important. That's why we're here tonight, to make everyone here aware of the 4 Fires and all the resources that we have, and then be able to build community and get to meet other men. Because there are, as you can see, there are men all throughout this region. We have guys all over the nation. One of my buddies from college up in Rochester, Minnesota, he's got a small group going up there. So we're national. And there's a whole group of men that are trying to live this 4-dimensional lifestyle. Like I mentioned, it's just an idea and a framework to think about the type of men that we want to become. And I think it's the men that God created us to be. A few years ago, we decided to start a nonprofit so that we could achieve our mission of building an army of 4-dimensional men. And we do events like this. This is our first tribe gathering like this. We do fitness challenge events that some of you have attended. And we've got small group content and some other content all about helping men build community and get together as that iron sharpens iron idea. The awareness is great. We say the 3 keystones, the things that are required to be a 4-dimensional man are awareness. So this is awareness. You guys are hearing about the 4 Fires. Then we have to own it, so ownership. And then we have to practice discipline over decades. We say that the 4-dimensional journey is by day and by decade. So it's little decisions every day to write the love you note on the fridge to your wife before you leave to work. It's little actions like that every day over the course of decades that can radically change not just your life, but the people that you love and care about most. My biggest goal whenever I'm sharing the 4 Fires with someone is not to just share a cool idea and then, all right, man, have a good day. I want to point you guys to next steps. Because I'm not just here to share this idea. I want you guys, if it's something that you feel like resonated with you and you're like, yeah, I want to be a 4-dimensional man, I want to give you some next steps. So you guys, some of you have seen the resources table over there. And like I mentioned, we've got our small group content and it's 8 sessions long. I know a lot of church small group semesters are 12 weeks. You can take that in the spring or the fall or the summer semester if you guys attend a church that does small groups. We've got close to 100 guys across the country right now that are going through that, and the small group content is one of our biggest tools for achieving our mission of building an army of 4-dimensional men. I truly believe that real life change happens when you have authentic community, when you're consistently meeting with men who are encouraging you and challenging you to grow, and when you have this framework, it really helps. And then after you go through the 8-week small group study, we have a book over there, we call it the Fire Circle Leader Guide. So the Fire Circle is designed after you've gone through the content-heavy sessions, then your group can convert into a fire circle, which I've got some guys here that we've been meeting for a year and a half, or close to 2 years. And we meet twice a month, so we say it's once or twice a month, and you just create this long-term growth community where you're getting together with some guys, and that leader guide is for the leader just to facilitate the conversations, just gives you some questions to ask. So check that resource out. And then we have another program called the 30-Day Ruck that I'd really like you guys to be aware of. And it's a 30-day challenge to live 4-dimensionally. You commit to a list of tasks for 4 weeks, and you commit to abstain from some things that waste time in your life or are just generally unhealthy for us. And then there's a weekly Zoom meeting with your ruck coach and the other guys that are going through. I'm coaching 7 guys through the ruck right now, and it's been really great. And we're going to hear from some guys here in just a second. I think at least one of them is going to share about their 30-day ruck experience. And I mentioned we've got other events that we're doing. So right now, I want to point everyone's attention over here. So here in just a minute, we're going to play some games. But if anyone's interested, there's a tape lined out right here, and there's a 10-pound medicine ball somewhere. That's one of the exercises in our 4 Fires Fitness Challenge event that we do. It's a standing power throw. So we do that event to measure our physical fire, and it's great like this to build some community. And we've got this one exercise here just for fun. It's probably the least intense exercise of the 6, but that test, if you're unfamiliar with it, it measures strength and endurance. So Pete's going to show us how to throw that ball here in just a minute. So anyway, y'all go check that out. We wanted to have that. And then just so you're aware, all of this can be found on our website, fourfires.com. But our next fitness challenge is here in Lagrange on September 6th. I'd love for every single one of you to come out to that. We have 3 different levels of participation. You can come and test your hard work that you've been putting in the gym. You can come just to get your baselines and do a couple of the exercises. Or we also have a lot of people that come and just observe. So don't feel intimidated by that event. It's totally fun and relaxed. So that's coming up. And then for any of you, like Tyler's up north of here, about an hour. So if you live up north of here, we're doing another one on September 20th at East Coweta High School's football field. All of that's on our website. And we got a podcast if you guys want to continue to hear some Four Fires content. So all of that, all of our resources and next steps for you guys can be found over on the table, and my lovely wife Rachel can help you with that. On that note, with the fitness challenge, I've got a couple people here tonight who attended the one in March. So Charlie Metcalf, Cooper Metcalf, and Andy Porter. Can you guys come up here and get your shirt? So these guys scored. If you score above a 500, it's a total score out of 600. So Charlie scored above a 500. Cooper scored Cooper scored higher than his dad. I'll share that. And then Andy scored above a 500 as well. So, yeah, congratulate those guys. And come out and attend. Alan's already got his shirt. He scored above a 500. And there were several other guys. One of the guys in my fire circle did really well. Great job, guys. And so right now, I want you guys to hear just some short stories from a couple of our guys that have taken this framework. Because like I mentioned, it's an idea. There's nothing magic about the Four Fires that changes your life. Well, Jesus will change your life. But the idea of the Four Fires is not going to change your life. And so these guys have taken this idea and said, I want to live that way. And they have been disciplined and made choices over time to be more four-dimensional. They're the heroes in their story. And that's what I want to share, is that all of us need to be the hero in our story. The framework is there, and then it's your choice to live into it. Tyler, I'm going to have you come up first and share a little bit about your Four Fires journey.
All right, I appreciate it. One more thing. This man never seeks any level of admiration or appreciation, but can we give it up for this guy right here? Can we just give it up for him?
My name is Tyler Toma. I am a man of faith first. I'm a husband. I'm a father of 2, a 1 and a 3-year-old. So if I look exhausted, there you go. I'm also an attorney by trade. So the Four Fires can work on an attorney. It can work on just about anybody. I joined up with Four Fires about 1.5 years ago. And first thing I actually did with the Four Fires was we went down to Gulf Shores, a bunch of really smart, man after God's heart type of folks. And it was a really great experience. I take something from just about everything I've done with the Four Fires. The next thing, I guess, would have been the 30-day ruck shortly thereafter. And then I guess a month or 2 ago, did my first physical fitness test. And, from that, I learned I'm a little too fat and a little too weak. So that was nice. But really great experience. By the way, if you like the ball, there's this sled thing. You got to try it. It's great. Anybody who's done it is saying, no. But the 30-day ruck was really the thing that made an impact on me. I didn't quite understand why it was 30 days until after the 30-day ruck was over. And I realized the intentionality for me was great because it actually created habits. There were a lot of habits that now are everyday occurrences, especially with my boys. And those things, praying every night, talking about what we're truly thankful for, what we're truly grateful for. Yeah, it does quite a bit for a 1 and a 3-year-old, but it really does a lot for me. And it really puts things into perspective for me. So unequivocally, the 30-day ruck made me a better dad. And then another conscious part now that actually seeped over into my professional fire is every day, 5 o'clock, I'm done. Period. Plain and simple. Because what I would do in the morning now is I'm intentional with my relationship with Christ. And then obviously when I'm at work, I have a sheer focus on that. But when that time is up, it's up. the one thing that you do in the ruck is you talk about where you're deficient in. And my deficient is the physical fire. I'm having a hard time figuring out when exactly I can go work out, but the other three are thriving. So now I've got to make an adjustment. But the whole point is you're living intentionally, have the right things at your mindset, and it really fosters a better person. And you're ultimately going to come out to be a better father, a better husband, a better friend, a better follower of Christ, all the such. So this really made an impact on me. I can't speak highly enough about the positive impacts it's had on me, which is obviously seeped into my family, into my practice, and everything else. So I appreciate each of you for taking the time. If y'all ever need anything or have any questions, he's the guy you'd probably talk to, but I'm happy to be a real support staff for you. So thank you all, and hope you have to enjoy the rest of the night. Thanks.
All right, then we're going to have Gabe come up and share a little bit about his story.
Hey everyone, my name is Gabe Palo. I met Jeff last fall at an internship fair in Lagrange, and I'm pretty introverted by nature. Jeff was sitting right at the table next to me, and he was talking about the four fires and what he was doing with lead, and I didn't really think about it too much at first. I was just like, oh, okay, that seems pretty cool. Got a book, flipped through, read it, and then didn't do much with it at first. Later on down the line, Jeff invited us to become part of a small group through Financial Peace. Me and my fiance, Mary Kay, started going to that. It was really good. And then slowly, I just started getting more involved and doing more stuff. And then back last November, I decided to just go ahead and do a 30-day ruck. And I think that was really kind of what changed my view on the four fires and just in general, because subconsciously, I think we all know that it's all stuff that we're supposed to be doing. You know, it's things that aren't very difficult, but we just don't do them or we put them off. The 30-day ruck truly helps you be more intentional about those things. Some days you might just sit there and be on your phone or come home and just want to do something else, relax, just kind of take a breather. And then that 10 minutes turns into 30 minutes, it turns into an hour. And then you're like, you look back and you're like, oh, where'd all this time go? But I think the 30-day ruck truly helps you look at all the things that you can accomplish in a day, no matter how busy you are. I did it, as I said, in November. So I went home for Thanksgiving to Florida to be with my family for a week during Thanksgiving. And I was like, I got to the second week and I was like, oh boy, I don't know, like if this was a good idea, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to complete this. But then I just kind of sat down one Sunday night and planned out my whole entire week and kind of made sure I fit in time for the family and stuff as well. Might have had to wake up a little bit earlier, go to bed a little bit later, but as long as you're being conscious about it, I think it's all things that are definitely doable. There's different levels of the rucks. You can do level 1, level 2, or level 3, with level 3 being most intense. I did a level 2. I think it's a great place to start. I would highly recommend it and have everyone look into doing a ruck if you haven't done one already. But yeah, I just wanted to preach about the ruck and talk about how it really helped me and get me really going in the four fires. So thank you.
All right, we got Charlie next. My name's Charlie Metcalf. I'm a pastor at Clearview Chapel in town. I'm also an advisor for Lead Advisors. I sat down and had breakfast at Gus's Grill in Lagrange with Alan early part of last year, and he handed me a Four Fires philosophy book. Going through that and sitting down and talking to him and hearing that philosophy, that framework worked out, I was like, wow, this is something that I've tried to articulate but didn't have the skills to do so. And it's such a great metaphor. And to be able to see it through that book and to say, man, I can't wait till they produce kind of a full curriculum for this with 100% church-based. So that little book is awesome. It's a great way to get someone who's a non-believer to view the philosophy as a whole. And so I ended up doing a ruck after that, and then Army Combat Fitness Challenge. And then after that, leading Four Fire small group. So done all those things. And to me, my family, give you a little bit about my background, coming up on 25 years of marriage. I've got 3 kids. I've got a son in college. I've got a daughter in college. And then I've got another son in high school who's hanging out here, who did outscore me in the Army Combat Fitness test. So he was super proud about that.
And for me, that Army combat fitness test was neat in that I was coming off of a ruck and I didn't really train for it, didn't know much about the Army combat fitness test. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go out there and do it. I got a t-shirt this time. I did not get a t-shirt the first time. So of these 6 different categories, I failed 2 of them. So that lit a fire underneath me to be like, man, I need to get my physical stuff worked out. And so I ended up training for the next one, increased by almost 100 points, passed all of it, got a t-shirt. Then this past one again, kind of trained for it leading up to the month before and improved the score as well. Didn't beat my boys, but it was nice to be able to do it with my sons, to get out there, to have that model for them. And Cooper saw me struggle my first time, that he was out there and he saw his dad, fail 2 of the categories. And so then like the second time I was out there, he was out there and he saw me succeed in those categories. So it was pretty cool to be able to do that. And so that was one of my highlights kind of when Jeff asked me to speak about it. I was like, man, that Army Combat Fitness Challenge really challenged me, helped me kind of model what physical fitness looks like for my sons. And then also wanted to say just about the Four Fires small group. And so, like I mentioned, that small book is kind of an entry gateway. And then the curriculum really dives into it and it brings it from a biblical perspective, like 100%. And I was like, man, I want to be able to do that. And I'm a pastor, had someone in my church just hearing about, kind of their marriage struggling and falling apart. And I was like, I was just so sick of like the devil taking ground. And I was like, dude, we're being proactive. We're doing this. And so usually I'm a big planner, months out, whatever. And so this was kind of 2 weeks notice. I was like, hey, attention church, if you're a guy, you're interested in this is kind of Four Fires briefly. And we had 12 guys show up and it was a very powerful experience. Jeff put me on the spot and asked me, if you had one word to describe your small group, how would you describe it? And I paused for a moment and I was just like, it was powerful. It was powerful to get 12 men in a room who were all on the same page, all cared about the same thing, and to see transformation within each one of those men. So we had one guy whose weight loss journey, he's lost 40 pounds already, had interest in leading kind of a fire circle group, over the summer. And he's like, man, we need to continue doing this. So it's been great to be able to do that. And I want to say, like, if you've been through that, you can facilitate a group. Like, the curriculum is so good, video-based, questions are there for you. And so if you've got kind of an inkling and urging, I'm like, man, just do it. So that's my encouragement for you this evening. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so Charlie was 92-point swing on the fitness challenge over 6 months. All right, Austin, come on up, man. Austin's been in my small group in Fire Circle for a year and a half, 2 years now. So, all right, let's hear from Austin. How's it going, everybody? I picked at Jeff a little bit earlier this week. I was like, I know I used to kind of be that setup closer guy in college, but you set me up to be the closer for this, so all the pressure in the world, but I love it. Like I said, my name's Austin Wilson. I'm 26 years old. I'm an educator. I'm a coach, proud native of Lagrange, Georgia. I live in a single-person household, and I've been on this incredible journey with the Four Fires since July 13th of 2023. So just to kind of tell you how I got into it, I'll take you back a couple years to a time I was really struggling, trying to navigate through life as a mid-20 college graduate, moving out on my own. At this point in time, I was struggling with my faith, and me and Jeff, we actually used to run our college's Bible study. So I had veered off the path, living life kind of rough. So I was sitting in Walmart parking lot one day, and I called Jeff and told him about it. I was just having these constant struggles. And I'm like, man, what's going on? And I sat in my truck at Walmart, and it felt like somebody was sitting next to me. And I go, God, I'm giving you everything. Please send something to me that can help me be more accountable, help me be a better man, help me become who I want to be so I can be a good father for whenever I have that opportunity, be a good mentor to the kids I coach. And probably about a week or so later, I get a text from Jeff saying, hey, man, let's have lunch. It's been a while. So we have lunch, and he introduced me to the Four Fires. After that, it's been a complete flip of my life. I've found my purpose. I've been dedicated to going to church, and that really happened when I started my 30-day ruck. It challenged me to go to church every Wednesday, every Sunday, do my own type of Bible study. So now, through these Four Fires, I really found my purpose fire, And my family, going to church or, we got to a point of like, hey, we're only seeing each other at funerals. We got to stop doing that. So I got together with my family and I said, hey, just one Saturday out of the month, we'll get together and we'll congregate, we'll talk, we'll catch up on life's things, we'll have a Bible study. So we've been doing that for the past 3-4 months now, and I have a large family, so we usually have about 15 people show up every one Saturday out of the month. And I'm telling you, it changed the family dynamic of what are we doing now? How can we serve our purpose to God in a better way? Because you're supposed to be there with your family. You're supposed to challenge each other. And that's what our fire circle has become, is a small family. So that grows into a larger family, which is the Four Fires tribe. So we have had very challenging conversations. Me and Jeff have cried tears in this kitchen multiple times, talking about life's struggles, talking about growing into men and seeing our fathers getting older, getting us prepared for what's to come, because one day we're going to be fathers. One day we're going to be the men leading our families. We're going to be the men leading the world, and we're learning constantly and having those great conversations in our fire circle. Like he said, we meet twice a month, and it's been such a blessing to me because I go to school and they say, hey, what are you doing this week? I'm like, I have my fire circle. I am ready to vent, and we're going to talk this out. We're going to do all these things, and we've constantly grown. The 30-day rec, if you have not done it or you don't know what it is, I know Gabe did a good job talking about it and Jeff's talked about it too. Please think about doing it, because it really does. It pushes you to your limits. It makes you really be an intentional person, live your life with an intention to be better. That's one thing this year as a coach, it pushed me, because my job isn't just to coach a child baseball and get them just only make them better at baseball. My challenge is to make them better men who are going to grow into fathers and leaders, people who can take care of others. Because I had a conversation with them this year is, I want you guys to be the person that'll reach down to the little man and lift them up, not step on them. And that's what this world has become, is when you see the little guy, you're willing to step on him. And with the Four Fires, it's all about growth, becoming a better man, being a good leader. But I really like to say thank you to Jeff, because this really has been a life-changing thing for me. And if you haven't done it, pat this man on the back. I appreciate it. Thank y'all. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. It's the individual stories like that that make it feel real. Because again, like I mentioned, it's just a framework, and then you guys can take it and apply it to your life. We're going to wrap this up and play some games and continue to meet somebody you don't know. I do want to, again, point you guys back there to Rachel and the resources table. Just go look at it and check it out. We've got some shirts. Oh, yes. Thank you. Rachel will make sure you can see it. There's a free gift for everyone over there on that table, and it's a decal for your truck or your car, and it says the Four Fires Tribe. Alan's got the only one as of right now. But hopefully we get a bunch of them. So everybody's got a free gift over there. Make sure you see Rachel and go get that. And then with the Four Fires shirts, get one of those. There's a shirt there that says Four Fires Army Wife. So if you guys want to get a gift for your wife, feel free to, yeah, there we go. There's a weapon display. But I will warn you, with the Four Fires shirts, yesterday evening, I was in Walmart and a lady rode past me on a cart. And she said, "You're too sexy for that shirt." And I was like, "Excuse me, what?" And she said, "You're too sexy for that shirt." And she drove off. So if you buy one of these Four Fire shirts, you might get hit on by somebody in Walmart. So that's not a lie. That actually happened yesterday. That's all I've got. Let's hang out and play some games. Y'all keep eating and stay hydrated. Get some drinks. I'm going to go over here and see how far I can throw this ball. Thank you guys for being here. Let's have a good time.